Hey everyone, and welcome to another Moving Communities interview. Today is a very special day. We have here with us Deckard and Lou. Both are the founders and co-founders of the Everloot project. And this is the first time that you are seeing their faces, so this is pretty exciting too. First of all, thank you for joining in, Deckard and Lou, and then welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Give us a quick introduction about, today we're going to talk about Everloot, which is a project that is remark based, right? And there is using several of the NFT very specific creations of the remark characteristics. But I think Everloot is going a step further because, I'm a big fan of Everloot, if it's not clear by now. Everloot is doing all those things regarding like gaming, and putting the remark to use, like one of the use cases of remark when you think about it and people ask me about, I always say Everloot, in one of the cases. So tell us a little bit more about Everloot, how it started, about you guys. Just give us a quick introduction.
You want to start?
Sure. You want to start? Or
no, you want to start.
I'll go ahead. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, thanks for having us. What is Everloot and how did it start? So Everloot started as kind of an item project where we thought, hey, there is something missing in terms of dark medieval fantasy. So we saw so many colorful things and we said, hey, let's make something that is a bit more like the classic RPGs we loved when we were younger, when we were playing, like Diablo has been mentioned a lot, for example, as style reference, but also like board games, Dungeons and Dragons. And we missed a lot of these like darker themes. So we said, let's go and make an item collection that will be cross metaverse compatible. And then fast forward, we set up the idea around March, and then we found out pretty quickly that there is nothing that will interpret our items. So we kind of had to create our own metaverse in quotes, which then got more into the direction of a game. And yeah, since March, we are on the path of developing Everloot as a browser-based game, of course, because we need the wallet extension. That is, we would say, remark first. So basically the souls are in the center of what we do. And you have a progression like you have in a normal game, but you keep your progress and it's all built on top of composable NFTs that remark enable us. And basically our big inspiration was Bruno, who gave a talk about what is possible with remark. And we said, hey, we need to make a character that wears an axe, and this character can play for another axe, can play for a better one, goes to missions and so on. And so this whole idea started. We set up a server on Discord, and we had a lot of physical drawings, a lot of ideas, inspirations, dark art and everything on paper and stuff. And the people just loved it. And that's when we scaled it up, made a team of, I think, 13 people at the moment. No, I think, it's 13 people. and now we're here.
Yeah, I think the cool part about the whole project is, just to jump in really quickly, is the way it grew. Like we had the idea of the whole metaverse with items and being equipable there. And then, growing into what we are now, which is quite a stretch from where we began. I think it's just cool seeing it growing with the community and having all those different characters in the team who bring a lot of ideas into it. We have meetings twice a week and we always draw inspiration from each other. And I think it's just so cool seeing it evolve and seeing it grow. And now being at a point where we're confident that we have a pretty cool little game going, and we're already thinking about progression and everything, what's there going to be in a month from now. So yeah, just the progression of the whole project is awesome to be a part of.
So if I got it right, you guys started like a few months ago, is that it? Like you got together like maybe 4 months ago and decided to build?
Yeah,
yes.
I think we started the Twitter and Discord like at the end of February. I think we started the Twitter first at the end of February, and then the first week of March, I think we started the Discord, and all our team members reached out to us. We're really into what we tried to create, and we grew pretty quickly, which is amazing, of course. And it hasn't been that long, to be honest, and it's quite crazy how far we already came.
I'm completely blown away, honestly, because think about starting a project in crypto, and engage with the community. Like you guys have some skills, like you guys have some, what I can say, like it's inherent, like, because starting like a project like this, being able to manage like small steps, small deliverables, because we already have some mini games, right? I couldn't participate in the first quest, going right with against the Kraken. I couldn't beat the Kraken, but like having those experiences with Mark for the first time, that's amazing. You are the one that draws?
No, I didn't draw it, but we have very good artists.
That's amazing. Yeah, so this is pretty exciting. And Deckard, let me ask you this, because I was with this naming was in the back of my head. Deckard is one character in Diablo. Is that where you get the inspiration from?
Yes, yeah, it's a very influential character from Diablo. And I was thinking I'm going into copyright issues if I'm using it, and then I looked up and said, okay, you can use it as a first name, so that's fine, totally okay.
Oh, good to know.
But there is a lot of Diablo style inspiration, so we didn't hide that. It's that guy, it's that old guy from Diablo.
That's cool. All right, maybe we can jump in and talk a little bit more about the game itself. A little bit about the prologue act 1. You guys did the whole story in 3 months. That's crazy. But can you go through, like, there's a lot of people that is going to be listening here for the first time. Can you explain like the story, the background, how everything started, and where we are right now?
Sure, I'll take that one. So the general plot is that we have a continent, so we have a world which is called Estra, and this world Estra has a lot of things going on. It has complicated dynamics, it has complicated social structures, it has basically a world that is known, kind of the continents in 15th, 14th century, and a world that is not yet known to this kind of civilization. And people, for the conflicts they're having, they are searching for new land, and they are searching for new opportunities, and they're searching to escape their reality, which they have in their specific corner of the world. So when the chance arises for the people to visit the new continent, and they've heard about the new continent from sailors coming up, they take it and they will venture with a boat to a different continent or different set of continents. That is the world which we will still announce, like the map and everything. And there is a whole new dynamic going on, and there will be they will discover this world with all the structures that are going on, with all the religious conflicts, the political conflicts, and so on. And so we're trying to build this world around a big lore that we're writing at the moment. But the people will start small and arrive in a city, in a desert city that's close to the sea. That's called Trakan, which is basically at the outskirts of all of this, and it gives them an introduction to this new world in kind of an enclosed setting of a very remote desert town. And this is all the player knows so far.
Are we in Trakan already? No.
So at the moment, good question. So what we did is we had a ship of 100 people that were called the Enlisted, and they were on a ship. And these people, they had also the chance to do some alpha testing for missions. Lou will tell something about how these missions worked. And we then opened the channel, the Discord channel, with all the lore that happened in this so-called hammock deck. So basically the people on the ship, so that everyone could participate and read it. And we will soon arrive in Trakan. So at the moment, we are at the stage where we sell the tarot cards. So you might have seen the ones on Singular, where you see the tarot cards with the animations, with 3 different types of tarot cards you can buy. And within the next 5 days, there will be a reveal on our front end where you can basically see your destiny, and in our front end, drag in the card and reveal it for basically what your destiny will be, what character you will be, what backstory you will have, and so on. And shortly after, you will be directly in Trakan. And then from this point on, we will think of like iterating and like working in 3-week sprints to give you more and more and more, so that the story is not to give you like a full-blown game in the first second, but rather to make you part of the journey, like in steps and iterations, try to keep the speed we have and go step by step. But first, I think Lou can tell something about what we did on the way to Trakan.
Yeah, so right from the get-go, we thought of this town Trakan. I think it was one of the first things we teasered as well. And then we were like, okay, how do we get there? And it was pretty obvious to us that we need a boat. So we decided to start the enlisted ship and put people on it. And we didn't want to do a normal whitelist like every other NFT project does, where you're eligible to buy something you don't really know yet what it is. So we wanted to get the first fans that were active on the Discord, were active on Twitter, be able to join this ship and be part of it. And one of the first things we wanted to try as well is this whole mission style we were working on pretty early. So like you already said, we grew pretty quickly and we started building pretty quickly. And in order to test everything we're building, I tried to think of a way where we can integrate the community and get them to have fun in testing our system, basically. So I came up with this Kraken mission where they're getting attacked on the boat and everybody has a harpoon and they need to try to coordinate together and attack the Kraken in order to defeat it, in order to be able to even arrive in Trakan. So people loved it. We had like, out of 100 people, we had like 90 participate, which was huge for us. We were really honored that so many took the time out of their day and got into our front end and actually participated, and everything worked pretty smoothly. There were some bugs here or there I got to fix, but overall it was just great seeing the community interact with the first version of our game, basically. So we introduced some mechanics, like we're gonna have in Trakan like solo stuff where you send your character on different missions, but we're also gonna have lore driving missions where people interact in groups. And for example, the Kraken mission was one of those where you had to get together and you had to meet certain thresholds. So the prologue was all about getting to Trakan, and now we're approaching Act 1 and Trakan. And like Deckard already said, it's going to be a lot of fun. We already have some stuff ready, and I'm pretty excited for people to get to play the actual first part of the game. Yeah.
I have so many questions. Let's go step by step, because first of all, congratulations, guys. I'm honestly very happy to be part of, to buy the souls. I'm the one that have the souls. I have 3 souls, each one of them. I participated in the Book of Lore as well. And I'm doing this disclaimer that I have because it's still available, right? People can still buy the souls in Singular app, right? Yep. They can go over there and buy. There is still some souls available and shortly will be burned, right? If I'm correct?
Correct.
We're gonna talk more about the souls, but I just want to touch base before we move on to the Kraken challenge that you guys did. Can you explain a little bit about the dynamics? Because what I was curious was how fast you guys were to develop the mechanics and use RMRK technology to create this challenge, right? So there were some mechanics over there and you guys already explored the RMRK technology, right?
So we actually were one of the first, if not the first collection other than Tricky with his Gamma Birds and the Canary guys who actually used the RMRK 2 tech with our Book of Lore. And we got pretty hyped with that as well from the community because we were one of the first. And mechanics wise, we got one developer, he's named QBG, and he's just amazing. He's so quick. I've never seen such an efficient and competent guy. So we got really lucky with him. He's developing almost all of the front end and is doing a great job in there. I'm mostly doing the back end all the server side and everything. So yeah, us working together, we got there. We got everything working pretty quickly. And for the NFTs themselves, we're trying to get into those ourselves, but we knew that we have to focus on especially the game side and all the lore and everything. So right from the beginning, we got approached by the Tricky guys, and we thought to ourselves, well, why not get super competent people in the space, maybe even the most competent people in the space on our side, and get them to help us with everything in order to deliver the best possible product. And I think that was the right step, because we have a pretty darn good product, and I'm really happy that the Tricky guys, they worked really hard on it as well. It just, everything got together by people being really competent and working together pretty nicely.
Yeah, this is pretty exciting to the future, to be honest. As a person that has the souls, and like what you guys did in 3 months, imagine what we can have in a year, right? Like, you have so many deliverables, you guys are sticking to it. So that's pretty exciting. So you mentioned about the story, but we know that each person, or maybe wallet, will have its own character, or its kind of souls, and souls will have accessories. Can you explain a little bit more about the souls, like the character itself at the game?
Yep. So the souls, as Lou said, so we did some beta testing already, where, for example, you got this harpoon, and you sent the harpoon to a mission, and basically you got some reward back based on some business logic in the backend. And then we advanced that test, and we put, for example, we have a group that's called the people that have the cats of Beryl, the Beryl DAO. So they are at the moment testing with cats to fetch reds, and each of the cats has different stats. So strength, dexterity, and so on, intelligence. And so these NFTs, they influence the outcome of the missions. And that's my transition basically to the souls we're now having, because now with the souls, we're having a composable NFT. So that means an NFT that, for example, owns a piece of armor, like a cloth of armor, like an axe as a weapon, and so on. So it has some metadata on it, which is, for example, I'm a berserker. I have a general strength on my character, but I can also wield a very simple axe, which also gives me some strength bonus, and then sums to a total of, let's say, 7 strength. And that means that when we now send a composable NFT to a mission, we can evaluate based on some business logic the reward that this soul will get. So like, this is kind of some game mechanic that we're having. So one side is that we have metadata based on the gaming aspect. One side we have metadata that is based on the past of the character. Like, for example, what former profession or talent does the character have, and other ones that you will see later on when it's released. And we try to let every character feel a bit unique, that every character also, due to also, though it has randomness and stats, and so does have a good starting point to go with, because it's a Genesis collection. So we want like it to be fair, although there is randomness, and someone can have a legendary item on them, or someone can receive a naked soul. And yeah, this is basically the mechanic. So a combination of metadata, art, game related and lore related stuff on it. And yeah, you'll basically see it in a few days.
I'm very excited. I can't wait to see it. Like I said, I have all 3 souls. I have the Lost Soul, the Warrior, and the Fable Soul. So all will be revealed in 5 days, right? In 5 days, what day exactly it is, because this video is probably going to live tomorrow. So
we haven't released the exact date yet. We want to do it in like a sneak drop, maybe, in order to not overheat the system by everybody trying to do it at once. So it's probably going to be sooner than 5 days. We're doing the final mint maybe tomorrow, if everything works smoothly. So it's maybe going to be 3 to 4 days, maybe like around Thursday. Yeah.
Okay. And so as soon as you guys do that, will the souls be burned, or people will still have some time to get those souls?
So the tarot cards that are owned by the players, they will not get burned. The only ones that will get burned is basically the tarot collection. So if there are still cards left that are not bought, they will get burned. So basically, we'll burn all of the supplies that is not bought until the 15th. So we have about like 2.5 weeks still to go, like in between the reveal and in between the. Sorry, it's starting raining heavily. I hope you still hear me.
Yes.
Yeah, basically this is 2 weeks to look at the art, and then they will disappear forever, and then you have to go to the secondary market. So that's basically it. And I wanted to say one more thing. So souls are one part of the story, but and they are your entry ticket to the world. But on the other hand, it doesn't ever. So the souls will be embedded into a system, which is basically, so there's a lot of work into lore and everything. So we are trying to tell a story, which is, so our main goal is that our players have fun in the game and kind of want to explore the world. And there will be mysteries, there will be riddles, there will be stuff to solve, there will be some things that you that you collect information on but can't really might have to do some detective work, some aspects of maybe a point and click adventure. On the other hand, you'll have idle game missions where you send your character on an 8-hour mission and then you hope it comes back with some loot. But we try to embed it into a system where it's fun and where the choices of the player matter. So that means we will have like an individual character progression, but on the other hand, we'll also have a world progression. So as your character progresses through the main lore, there will be like milestones in the story that can't advance before everyone else, or before everyone does a decision. So this is not tied to your individual progression, but for example, it could be that that there is a family in the city of Trakan, and the family is accused of like being tied to some evil forces that you don't want to have in town. So players have to decide what happens with the family, if they will be thrown out of town and their house burns down, or if we negotiate and find some solution. So, and this is why we create like pathways for the stories to evolve, where we already thought about like, okay, which could be which side, but it's meant to be a story which is somehow told by us, but somehow also like being like a D&D adventure where we know that there is this way and this way, and or even more, and then tell the story from there on. So it's kind of also an experiment how people react and what choices people make, how they vote on certain decisions and so on. So we're not just trying to be some kind of browser game, but we're trying to be like this immersive experience, especially in bear markets. We don't want people to look at the charts all day, but they should come to Trakan and find somewhere that's not called crypto.
That's cool.
Just jumping in there really quickly, I think the question you asked earlier, I think it was about like how the tarot cards gets into a soul, maybe. I'm not sure if that was your question, but I just want to explain that really quickly. So right now, people can still buy until the 15th of July our tarot cards, which are, I mean, if you're in the space, it's basically like an egg, which will hatch. So you're able to purchase that, and we'll be able to reveal that in our front end, and that tarot card is going to be burned, and you will receive your soul out of it. So how we're going to do it is that we're going to mint probably tomorrow all the souls. So you will be able to look into the collection and see all the available souls. And then you you basically put in your ticket like in a claw machine and hope for the best. So we thought it would be fun if people were able to already see what's in the pot. And then, yeah, we're randomly going to choose one for you depending on which rarity of card you purchased. And then, yeah, the tarot card is going to get burned. And after the 15th of July, all the remaining tarot cards are going to get burned as well. So they're not going to be revealable, of course. And depending on how many were bought, we have the Genesis souls who will be up for grabs.
And in the souls, I know that they have classes, like you say, Berserker. All the Berserkers look the same, or there is some difference between them as well?
No. we put a lot of thought and a lot of work into making them look as uniquely as possible, not only in different traits and in different looks, but also in different origins, different descriptions. So all of our descriptions and the NFTs themselves are dynamic. So depending on where every character comes from, it's going to influence the way the description is written, for example. So it's pretty unique. Everybody's going to have a unique name. I mean, it's possible that names are going to be duplicated, but almost everybody will have a unique name. And yeah, it should be pretty cool to try to identify yourself maybe with one or another soul. All of them will have randomly generated stats as well. So maybe you're looking for a really wise ranger or a really strong berserker. You can basically let your imagination do all the rest.
That's cool. And I like what Dekak said about how the game is evolving, you know, like how deep the layers are getting into, you know. And when I think about Remark, blockchain, crypto games, you know, and I try to put all of them together, I think you guys are nailing it. You know, like you're reaching like a very sweet spot of a very cool game, you know, in this style that a lot of people like it, or like kind of Diablo or Dungeons and Dragons as well. But you're actually using the concepts of crypto, right? Decentralization, people will make a decision together. Let's see how the decentralized decision of the community will lead us to, you know, like if we're going to make good decisions. And we are also using the Remark technology, which is the top edge technology when it comes to NFT, right? So I think you guys are touching the main points, you know, like people should be excited about you know, Everloot in the next steps.
Yeah. So just because you talked about governance, actually one of the first concepts we talked about while developing was right from the beginning, we knew that eventually we're going to be on Moonriver. And pretty early on, we already thought about something like governance token and stuff like that, because we want the people to be able to influence what they're playing, because I mean, they are the players. They should get to decide what comes next, what Everloot evolves into. So that was actually one of the first concepts we thought about when switching to Moonriver, and thinking about all the perks Moonriver would offer is, for example, governance, which is pretty hard to do with Remark right now. But yeah, we're pretty excited about that for Moonriver.
That's cool, because in Moonriver you can get all those advantages as well, right? And you can blend it up, you know, in the smart contract form.
Yeah,
that's cool. So what about the gameplay itself? Like, can you talk us a little bit more? Because I remember one interview that we did with one of the projects that was game related, but very different from yours. And it was this mix of on-chain and off-chain. You know, this is something that Remark always emphasize, the need of being kind of more on-chain related game. So I imagine that you guys are going to have a UI experience that is kind of off-chain. People will play around, but most of the decisions will be placed on-chain or off-chain. On-chain, whatever. Can you go through that on those topics?
Yeah. Should I, or do you want to?
Go ahead.
So especially with Remark right now, there are no smart contracts. And like you already said, we're Remark first. So this whole thing only started because we saw the potential in having equipable NFTs and everything. So we wanted to keep that as a core in our game. So to start off with, we won't have any smart contracts because we just couldn't develop with them until now. We're going to do eventually. But so how it's going to be is obviously the assets are going to be on chain. So the NFTs, your souls, and all the resources you need in the game as well. So instead of having a token like you would probably do with a smart contract for stuff like wood or water, we're going to have NFTs, which are non-fungible in a way, but all act as the same resource, basically. So we're going to have water, which is going to be NFTs, but is interchangeable, basically. So the assets are going to be on-chain, of course. The progression is going to be a mixture of both. So we're going to have soul-bound progression in the characters. For example, for fishing, which is going to be one of the first missions we're thinking of of dropping certain milestones in the actual NFT. But we're also going to have stuff like fishing level, for example, which we're going to store in our own backend, simply because we can't really do it without smart contracts right now. So the whole remark space is basically trying to juggle between not having smart contracts and trying to be as on chain as you can, which we do try, but it's difficult. So we try our best, but without smart contracts, we are only able to do as much as we can. Yeah.
Okay, pretty clear. Right, about roadmap. So you guys are delivering basically every 3 weeks. 3 weeks we have something. You mentioned that the next steps will be the review of the soul. That is going to be pretty short. But what about the second act? Because as moment in time, we are still on the boat, right? We didn't arrive on land.
Nope. Yeah, it's about to happen.
Yeah. So basically, it's now the prologue, and then we will have Act 1 starting. And so at the moment, we're not thinking about like introducing another act like Act 2, but we're really thinking about like first making the experience enjoyable for everything around Trakan, and slowly expand from there, and like explore and get to know the world that is around Trakan. And the concept is that basically the Genesis people will have an alpha beta access to the game. So they will be able to venture around the game. They will do some very low key interactions at the start. And we will work in 2 to 3 week sprints, where we will try to ship updates that will make some balancing things, and that will introduce new game mechanics. So the next month will be about basically learning ourselves what people enjoy, what people don't enjoy, and being a mixture of like employing what we already learned with the missions that we have, and building up a resource economy that will at the end then be something that is very important for us, because we don't want to be the ones that throw always like new items on the market where the players have to buy them and then be better as before. But we want to make a meaningful progression system which doesn't feel like pay to win. So we're thinking about making a resource economy and make kind of a royalty-based model where we as a team live off the royalties rather than always throwing new items on the market, right? Because I mean, it's always a mixture of both. So we will do no more items on the market, but like our role models are game that doing the free-to-play model and the cosmetic stuff, and so to a good degree, and not the ones that employ like the inspiration we take on like Diablo Immortal. Everyone knows about how they kind of made a pay-to-win-esque game, and that's totally what we hate. So we're really standing for something that you like can enjoy without like putting new money in. But on the other hand, there will be some things that we try to make a game economy going, make trade going, where we as a team can get the funding from. It's kind of the more long-term and for us also more risky approach, but that's for us just, I think, the right decision in terms of like values, how we as gamers would value that. So we would love to get an economy with caps and sinks, with inflation, with deflation, with crafting that consumes the resources, with upgrading resources and so on, and then create value for what you do in your time. So your time gets value, and this time is then valued to other players because they want to advance maybe a little bit quicker. So they buy this on the market. And this will be a lot in the next month, like this resource economy, where I say, to get experience with this, to play around with this, to ask the community how they enjoy it. And this will be a very important step. So for us, it will be a lot of learning and a lot of adjusting and a lot of balancing, and just going step by step. So we don't think about really Act 2, like the next thing and then sell the next characters. We're totally into how do we make this fun now? Yeah.
That's sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to add on that. one of the main things we tried to focus, especially for those first few missions that are going to be out, and because we knew right away we don't want to publish a whole game, we don't want to promise a metaverse or anything. We want to have some cool missions which you enjoy doing right from the beginning. And one of the main things we tried to think about and tried to emphasize is that right from the beginning we have this economy which is deflationary, in a sense of you gather resources, you need resources for specific things. So we don't just want to throw things on the market and hope for the best. We really try to think it through and see where things could be going, and create something that's long lasting and not and it's not going to destroy itself by whales, for example, being able to accumulate a lot of wealth and then destroying the whole ecosystem. So we try to think about it really carefully, and
I really like it. It's really good to hear that from you, because like when we see most of the games, or any initiative in the blockchain space, most of them, they have this mentality of like, I have to mint more and more and more, and even if I don't sell everything, whatever I got out of it, though it's more money coming in, but the more you mint or the more you throw out over there in the public, the less value for the user they have, right? Because there's more to it. There's more accessories, there's more everything, and it's starting to make it lose a little bit of sense. What you guys are saying is, let's keep the resources, everything like kind of small group. Of course, we're gonna evolve, and this is a continual improvement. Like you guys will evolve the story as you go. There's no promises, but having this mentality of like, let's keep it small and let's try to be rewarded by the royalties. That's what whoever is buying the NFT wants to hear. Because that's the truth. When we see like those projects, like you can pay a fortune to get in, that's not gonna last long. As soon as the project start losing a little bit of faith, or people start migrating to other stuff, people will lose interest. And if we have the rarity, the scarcity of it, that's really interesting. I really dig into it now.
Yeah, but there will be, of course, a balance between things. So we have to throw new stuff on the market, but it has to be in a meaningful sense, right? And we talk to other blockchain games, because, like, to be honest, we don't have any experience in developing a game. Like, we're doing this for the first time, so we've got a bit of consulting from games that have not succeeded in the blockchain space, and they were dealing that with conflicts, like you just said. There's a term of it, it's called mudflation. So basically, you want the OGs, they always want their old stuff to be valued more and more and more in crypto, while in gaming you always need the carrot on the stick, that the new stuff is always a bit more valuable as the one you have. So you want to play for it, you want to have it, right? And to balancing these things out, this is kind of the delicate balance of blockchain gaming, because the old stuff, like the Book of Lore, for example, which this is a page of. You might
cool.
The Book of Lore is one of the first things we introduced, right? And we want this as an OG collection to be even more valuable in 1 year than it is today. So we don't want to forget about this, but on the other hand, we also want to earn money with it. So, and we think royalty is a good thing to do this.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys are not getting rewarded, I would be concerned. The project team gotta be rewarded proportionally to the success of the project. That's the truth. People will start saying like how much the team is getting. No, that's bollocks, because I want you guys to do the best, because most of the time for me that I'm buying NFTs, I want that NFT to increase in price. And to increase in price, we need the team focused and motivated to move forward. And that's pretty much it. It doesn't really matter what's happening, that's what I want to happen, actually. But Lou mentioned about the metaverse, but you guys bought some lands on Skybreach, right?
Yeah, we put some funds in there just to be part of it. We talked a little bit with Bruno about possible collaborations, maybe even in the future. So, I mean, we had to be in there. We were RMRK first all the way. So Skybreach was there from the beginning. When we started, we already knew about it. And that was one of the first white papers I read about this space. And it's just exciting seeing what they evolve into. And it's also pathfinding for us, because they're basically the trendsetter. They're gonna implement the chunkies and the canaries and everything on Moonriver eventually, and we want to go there as well. So trying to look at people like Yuri and Bruno, how they do it, and trying to maybe not mimic it, but yeah, take them as guidance. I think is a really good idea, because they obviously know what they're doing, and yeah, they rarely do stuff wrong. So I think just having the whole project always in mind is a good idea, I think.
So you guys talked to Bruno about it, about a potential partnership. What was the feeling like? Are you guys optimistic that there's going to be some kind of synergies with the game, or it's more to the community to get around, together and just be around over there? What are your thoughts? I know Skybreach is in really early stages. There's no promises of what we can achieve with it. Bruno already said that it's more as a gathering place than a game per se. So I know there's no promise, but what are your feelings? Because I know it's a blank canvas, right? It has to play around.
So we definitely plan on having elements from each other in each other's worlds, and basically make the sum great, make it greater as the sum of the pieces. And this is also what Bruno wants, but I think we can't and should not share more.
Okay, clear. All right. I mean, this is pretty much all my questions. Do you guys have any final thoughts? Would you like to add any other comments? I mean, I'll add one, which is go to Singular app, take a look on the Everloot tab. There is some souls available, right?
You don't even need to search. You can just look at the Everloot tab we got exclusively.
Yeah, I saw that. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you. It's amazing seeing people like Bruno believe in us almost right from the beginning. Like the first few days we started posting on Twitter, I think Yuri already retweeted us and was a fan of the artwork and everything. And it's just cool seeing them being so supportive. I mean, we're trying to grow the space, obviously, and it benefits them just as much as it does us. So it's just nice having them in the back and knowing if we have problems or if we have any ideas to grow this space, they are there, and they're listening, which is always nice, I guess.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Last comment maybe from my side. So we, like Lou and me and the whole team, I think like we worked super hard the last month, and but I think it's also like the most fun times we ever had, and it's like a children dream, or like a child dream come true, that we're working on our own game right now. And we just want to say, like, we're going nowhere. So if you want to be part of the Genesis Mint, get your stuff, because we will be preparing for a year-long journey with you guys. And no matter what the market conditions are, we will just do it out of the fun, and just trying to do something really cool with you. And we hope that everyone likes it and will be part of it. And if we don't, then give us feedback, and we'll learn and adapt.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very happy that I had this interview with you guys. First of all, it's good to see a face, to the project, and also to learn more about your motivations, about what you guys think about, the next steps. I was already a supporter of Everloot, and I'm even more right now at the end of this interview. So guys,
I have one more thing to add. Okay. So now that you know how we look, we're going to be at Decoded tomorrow and the day after, and we got some goodies. So if you see us, approach us. We got some nice gifts for everybody who wants to be part of Everloot.
So, it's a shame that I cannot go. I would have some. I would want some for myself.
We can try to save some for you.
All right, will do.
No promises though. Maybe they go like hot potatoes.
Yeah, I imagine. Well, all right, guys. Thank you so much for the interview, and hope to talk to you guys soon.
Thanks for having us.
All right.